sorry about the abrupt stop there, but I'm going to continue on the same problem, okay, number 27. But I want to approach it the same way that your book did, so that's why I kind of stopped there, okay? So we're going to do a similar thing, okay? 1, 2, 3. I know you already have this, okay? Sorry about that. All right, now I want to just follow your book format so it's easier for you. But later I told you don't need to do this for me, okay? I'll show you how I cheat, okay? So now what I'm going to do is this. I have this leading 1 here, but I'm going to use this to make these guys zeros. And how would I do that? What do I need to multiply this guy to add to this guy to make it a 0? You're right, -2, right? So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to multiply row 1, right, by -2. That's what that says right there. That's what that means. But I'm going to add it to row 2 to get row 2. So I'm going to do something to row 1 to get a new row 2, which means when I rewrite this, the first row that I did something to does not change. And the third row, I didn't do anything to it, so leave him alone. The only new row that changed is this guy. Because what did I do? I multiplied this by -2, and I added 2. You guys, what's -2 times 1 plus this? 0. Okay, it's 0, right? Sorry, I'm going to write that with the red marker. It's 0, okay? But what if I multiply -2 times 2? -2 times +2 plus 1, -1, okay? So it's 2 times -2 minus 1. That's going to be -5. You see that? It's -2 times 2, which is -4, minus 1, -5, okay? The same thing here. -2, right, times 3 minus 4. So it's -6, -4, it's -10. Do you see how that happened? Okay? That's what happened when I did this to this, okay? Okay, notice that, okay? And that 0 became because it's -2 times 1 plus 2, which became 0, which became -10, which became 3. -5, okay? All right, let's do the next case, okay? That's what this guy said. Now, what about you try to see what's happening here, but it's going to continue from this new matrix that you've created, okay? All right, it says add -3 times row 1 to row 1. What? So let's rewrite this, okay? So let's rewrite the one that we already know, okay? It's going to take a little time, and it's going to take a lot of paper, as I warned you about, okay? Sorry about my markers. I don't know what's going on here. What the factor, okay? So let's go like, oh my God, okay. 1, 0, 3, oh my gosh, sorry. So let's try this guy. Okay, there you go. 1, 0, 3, 2, -5, 1, 3, -10, -1. Okay, you remember, you guys, I told you we're trying to make this guy a leading 1, right? So we want zeros below that. So obviously we're trying to get this guy to become a 0. And I know that you're thinking in your head what to do, and this direction is actually telling you that. So how is row 3 going to change? It says add -3 times row 1. So -3 times row 1, I'm going to add it to row 3 to get a new row 3. Okay, so which row changes? Row 3 does. Nothing else. So 1, 0, 2, -5. The first 2 rows do not change. When I multiply in row 1, so I get -3 times 1 plus 3, right? Plus 3. So I get 0 there. Yay, we're almost done, you guys. Look, it's almost right. Okay, REF. Now, how about here? -3 times 2 plus 1 is going to be -5. I got -5 here. Yeah, okay? How about here? You guys, you see how a lot of calculation error can occur? That's what the mistake is going to be. And if you screw up once, it's going to really throw us off, okay? So maybe I'm making mistakes too. I don't know. -3 times 2 plus 1 is -5. Let's try another one. -3 times 3, right? -3 times 3 plus -1. So it's -1, which is going to be -10, okay? All right. Oh, I see something weird happening there, okay? Yay, that's what that means, okay? Now let's do this, okay? So let's go to the third. So if you don't understand this, please ask someone next to you, okay? All right, let's go to part C. I'm just taking you through step by step. I think this is kind of helpful. Let's finish the problem using these steps. But later, you're going to have the freedom to do it however you'd like to do it, okay? So you can take different paths, but we'll always end up with the same answer. All right, let's continue with the matrix that we had, okay? So let's rewrite the matrix that we had, which was like this, right? You have this sucker here, 1, 0, 0. Yay, this one's done. Row echelon form already. This guy. And what did I say our goal was? To make this guy a leading 1, right? So in your head, you should be thinking, what should I do? But do you realize how this is an X and a Y and maybe a Z? But do you remember how when we did our augmented matrix, it was X and a Y and then there was like a row of constants? So this one's going to be a little bit tricky. But we're just practicing our elementary row operations here, not really solving for anything, okay? So this one's a little strange, but you'll understand that it's not so strange. All right, it says, you guys, do I want to make this guy a 1? So think about it to yourself, like what would you do to make that a 1, right? But I guess they're doing it a little bit differently, so we're going to take a different path. It says add -1 times row 2. So watch this. Negative, write the instructions here, okay? It says add -1 times row 2 to row 3. That's what they want us to do. Oh, do you see what's going to happen? You guys, what's going to happen to this guy? He's trying to make this guy a 1 later, but he's going to make this guy a 0 in the meantime, okay? I wouldn't particularly do it this way, though. I would actually do this step first. So, yeah, that's fine. Let's just follow this instruction, okay? This is your book's example, so I'm just going to follow it. But you don't need to. I wouldn't either, okay? So, you guys, this, first row didn't change at all. Remember, the row that you're doing something to does not change. Only the row that you did something to. For example, here. What's -1 times -5? And you add it to -5. That becomes a, this is already a 0, and this guy is 0, okay? Because it's 0 times 0, and then you add 0, that's 0. And this guy is going to be -1 times -5 plus a -5 is going to be 0. How about here? -1, right, times -10 plus a -10, which becomes a 0. Yay, we're almost there, guys, but we just need to make this guy a 1. So how do we make this guy a 1? Okay, you're right. You multiply row 2 by -1/5. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply row 2 by -1/5. And you get a new row 2. So let's rewrite that, okay? Third row did not change. First row did not change. Second row changed. What did it become? 0, 1, and 2. Can you stop and ask each other how this became 0, 1, 2? And ask your neighbors too, okay? Go ahead and ask your neighbors. You're right. We multiplied literally a constant into each of these terms in the matrix, okay? So actually, this is a row echelon form. But I think we're going to go a little further, okay? Let's go one more step. Because right now we're just practicing the elementary row operations to achieve, like, make me a 0 there. So let's try, okay? So it says add -2 times row 2 to row 1. So it looks like they want us to do, I'm going to erase this. -2 times row 2, -2 times row 2 plus row 1. Oh, okay, I see where that's going. You see how they're trying to make this a 0? Hinty, hinty, okay? So you guys, third row, they didn't tell you to do anything, right? Second row, you're doing something to it, so you write that down. You're going to change row 1, right? Add -2 times row 2 to row 1. So you're going to get a new row 1. Are you ready? Okay, are you ready? So we're going to go -2 times this guy right here, right? I'm sorry, I should have written this here. You know, the row that's changing, you should write this guy above, okay? -2 times row 2 plus row 1 becomes a new row 1. That's what I'm trying to show you here, okay? So it's going to be -2 plus -2, so this just stays 1 because -2 times 0 plus 1 is just 1. -2 times 1 is -2 plus 2 is going to be 0 here. What's -2 times 2? That's -4. So -2 times 2 plus 3, right? So -2 times 2 plus 3. I know it's a little bit confusing, okay? That's going to become -1. So now we are finished, okay? So you guys, you see how everything below the leading 1 and above are 0s? That's what we want to do, okay? So this is actually reduced row echelon, and this is row echelon. So if I say to do row echelon, you're done. If I say to do reduced row echelon, you needed this extra step where above and below the leading ones are all 0s. And we'll talk about like uneven equations later. But here, you see how everything below the leading ones are 0s? That's REF. REF and REF, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually tackle a problem from your book number 32. But can you guys go to the next video and watch that, okay? All right, come back, bye.